Yeah, it's great. So we're going to see 7 great companies. Give you a little idea behind our thinking and investing in the company. So, debt and managing your debt is something that a lot of people have to deal with, fairly obviously. And financial and fintech apps have done really well for us. We were early investors in Robinhood before they launched, and they just dropped their S1 30 minutes ago, and it's amazing how they're doing. And we're also in Wealthfront and Abra, a couple of other fintech companies. So we think fintech is just amazing. This next generation uses their phone as their dashboard, not their computer. And so mobile first apps tend to do amazing. And this app is designed really well. And that's one of our core tenets is we look for incredible craftsmanship in the products. Well-designed, well-crafted products is key for us. And then we look for signs of life in the user base, and that is through engagement and revenue, hopefully. So we saw all of those things here, and we like to invest early when the company is in that first year of getting product market fit. So with that, 3, 2, go.
Thank you, Jason. Hi, I'm Amber. I'm the founder of Paidback. It's a debt motivational tool that makes debt payoff simple and fun. And this is Jenny. She's an actual user of our app. She had $25K in credit card debt, $330K in student loans. She's feeling super overwhelmed, but the first time she used Paidback, she was able to save $38K on her student debt. So when she first logs into the app, she is able to link each of her debt accounts simply by using her online banking credentials. We'll store them in one easy to see place for her, as well as useful information such as her interest rates, so that later we can recommend better loan products to Jenny. After that, she can see the amount of debt she's paid as well as what she owes. We also help users like Jenny discover savings through our AI suggestions. So here, the app recognized she was likely paying too much in interest on her student loans. We recommended that she refinance, and she used our loan simulator calculator to discover how much she could save. Realized she could lower her monthly payment as well as save $38K in interest by refinancing with one of our partners, which she did, and we received a $400 commission for her doing so. We also help Jenny by allowing her to text our debt experts, where she can receive custom debt payoff plans as well as answers to her burning debt questions. We help Jenny celebrate debt milestones, such as making extra payments. So here, Jenny earned $50 extra babysitting. We recommended she pay off her highest interest credit card first. And as she entered in that extra payment, we sent her a congratulatory message for doing so. We also displayed it in our public feed, where her users can like and comment on her progress. Her followers can like and comment on her progress. Jenny also loves being able to share her questions or anything sourcing the community in Paidback via her status update bar. We launched in mid-September and earned $6,000 our first month. By December, we were earning $10,000, and all of this having spent $0 on customer acquisition. We make money through in-app purchases, affiliate links, and have an end goal of becoming our own lender. Right now, our in-app purchase is $5 a month. It's 15% of our revenue, and it allows users to make extra payments in the app, text our debt experts, and receive those AI recommendations. I'll quickly note, we used to charge $1 a month for our users to link their bank accounts, and that service is now free. We also make money through affiliate sales between $100 and $400 when our users take on loan products in the app, and that's 85% of our revenue, which is why we would love to become our own lender and how we'll scale to 100 million ARR by the close of 2024. In terms of competition, certainly there are personal finance apps out there. There actually aren't that many that are debt niched, and those who are tend to focus on one kind of debt, such as credit card debt. Nobody is providing the social connection that our audience craves. They aren't all cheap, and they're certainly not fun, but we are. I'm Amber. I'm a lawyer. I paid off $350,000 using the principles that I have put into this app. Josh and Keith are on development and design with plenty of years of experience under their belt. And that is Paidback, a debt motivational tool where we make debt payoffs simple and fun. Looking forward to your questions.
All right. Well done. Thanks, Amber. Okay, investors. So Andrea, you are up first. Can you please tell us your name, your firm, your average check size, and if you have a thesis, and then your question, please.
So hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Zurich, and I've actually been an investor for over 13 years. So I'm probably totally aging myself, but I've survived many peaks and valleys in the economy. And so my firm is called XG Ventures. The G is an homage to Google. I started the firm back in 2008 with one other partner. The two of us were very, very, very early Google employees, both with operational expertise. Mine is sales, my business partner's is finance. For the last 13 years, we've invested in over 100 companies. We've sold about a third of those. A third of those are still, growing and thriving and doing well. And as one can expect, a third have also not done well. Anyways, that being said, we are early seed stage investors. Our average check size is anywhere between 50 is on the low end, to high six figures. We like to always maintain pro rata. We tend to do lots of follow-on checks. Our investment thesis is we like to invest in smart founders. As Jason mentioned, great product market fit. We like to see a little bit of traction. And so that's the 30,000 foot view of XG Ventures. We are local. We're here in Menlo Park, but we invest. We have a few international deals, and we do invest outside the Bay Area as well. As far as my questions are concerned, great presentation, Amber. Super impressed that you've actually successfully paid off a lot of debt, which is pretty awesome. So it definitely adds to your validity of your story. My question had to do around really the competitive set. You had a nice chart there that showed your competition. The fintech space is pretty hot still. But my question is, what about other, I guess it's like customer churn. I didn't think of debt as being fun to pay off. I think it's actually kind of overwhelming. But what happens once the user actually pays off their debt? Are you worried about customer churn, that you won't have that customer for the long term?
Great. Thanks, Andrea. Andrew.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Andrew Gluck. Firm name is Irreverent VC. Early stage firm, really focused on the early stages, trying to be first check, definitely first institutional round. I've actually recently transitioned from being an angel investor to being a VC with a rolling fund. So typical check size now is 100K to 200K. Really focused on direct consumer, ad tech, and next gen commerce. My question is around LTV to CAC. I know right now your CAC is 0, but as you expand, obviously, and as you want to continue to grow, what do you expect your cost per acquisition to be, and how does that compare to your expectations around the lifetime value of your customers?
Thanks, Andrew. Ben. Hello,
Hi,
Ben.
I'm Ben Narrison. I recently spun out of NEA to start Tenacity Venture Capital, which is all the rounds before Series A. Formation, incubation, pre-seed, seed, targeting a $50 to $60 million fund. I've been in market raising that fund for 4 weeks, and I've already got over half the fund committed. So looking good so far. Actually, Andrea and I met when she was starting her fund. So hello. I've been doing this since 2007, so 14 years. I was an entrepreneur for 25 years before that. Started one of the first e-commerce companies in the world, took it public in 99. Didn't raise venture capital, so I was able to take it private and pay everybody the same way. And just sort of everything about entrepreneurship is my whole life. So question really, I've done a bunch of fintech. One of the second deal I ever did was Lending Club. Then I did Cabbage, Circle Up, Realty Mogul. It's been a very good space for me. You mentioned that you wanted to start providing your own debt, which can be scary. Warehouses and balance sheet capital, big difference than sort of marketplaces and peer-to-peer. So maybe just a little more detail, please, on would you partner with somebody, Credit Suisse does a good job for a warehouse and loan against that and make the spread? Would you consider balance sheet lending? Like, how would you approach lending your own money, and how would you underwrite it? Because you are getting some pretty interesting and useful data, but how much more would you need to underwrite effectively, and sort of how would you score it? And also lastly, I guess tied to this, when we did Lending Club in the beginning, it was very focused on sort of 720 and above, but then they opened up lower levels. How do you think about sort of what the bar is for you? Are you prime? Are you subprime? Are you near prime that you would think about lending into as you go into it directly?
All right. Thanks so much, Ben. And Connor.
Well, hey, everyone. My name is Connor. I'm an investor with a fund called Amplify. We're based in Southern California, but we invest in kind of what we describe as other US, so most often outside of SF, Boston, and New York. We're first check investors. We're typically looking at pre-seed rounds, investing anywhere from $250,000 to $750,000, usually looking to lead or co-lead. We've made just over 100 investments to date. all different sectors across enterprise and consumer, and a bunch on the fintech side as well. My question really overlaps with what Ben just mentioned. So I'd love to talk through more of the lending vision, essentially how you get there, essentially where the capital is coming from, and also just advantages there, advantages on the underwriting side, data that you're collecting on consumers. Yeah, it would be great to talk more into how you get there.
All right, terrific. Amber, you want to tackle those?
Sure, you bet. Let's start with, okay, great. Andrea, you asked about customer churn and what happens once our users pay off debt. So as I mentioned, we did launch in September. We haven't quite hit those users yet. I can confidently say debt is revolving. So even our users who pay it off, so right now we're kind of targeting millennials and Gen Z. Their debt is student loans, credit card debt. As they go through life, have kids, it's likely they'll incur more debt, whether it's credit card debt or hopefully getting a mortgage if this housing market stops doing crazy things. I'm confident, sadly, that our users will enter in more debt, but then they'll have a motivational tool to turn to as they enter into it again. That said, even if they never came back to the app, there are enough people out there who are burdened by debt that it's not too big of a concern if once they pay it off, they never got debt and never came back. I guess that would really be my goal for everyone, is to stay out of debt and not come back. But I just know that that's not really how the world works. Andrew, you asked about CAC and what we expect for lifetime value. Yes, exactly right. We have spent $0 on CAC. What we've done so far and are continuing to do is, and this will kind of answer one of your questions, Ben, is partnering with lenders and banks, even universities, and now even employers who we want to offer paid back as an employee benefit. So making debt payments for their employees rather than like a traditional 401k, those type of areas, or lenders recommending that their borrowers use paid back to pay off debt so that they're not having to go into collections and default and spending a lot of time and money there. I will quickly stay with one of our partnerships. Currently, they're using paid back for on the data side of things to learn about their customers who are not qualifying for loan products. They have too much debt. But if they can pay off a little bit, they'll qualify for a loan product to, for example, get a personal loan to pay off credit card debt. So that side of the business is interesting to them, which kind of leads into your question, Ben, with how are we going to become our own lender? And you certainly, thank you for your question. You certainly have expertise in this area, but whether we're partnering with others, that seems to be the way to go with the data we're able to collect.
Okay, sorry, Amber.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. 2 minutes is tight, but great job.
Thank
Okay,
you.
I'll bring up our next founder, Oliver from SupporTrends. While I'll remind the syndicate members to please use the Q&A box for any questions you have for the founders. Tag the company, and they could answer them throughout the session, even if we don't get them into that round. Okay, Oliver, are you ready?
I am.
All right, 3, 2, go.
Hi, everybody. My name is Oliver, co-founder of SupporTrends. We are your customer experience superhero. Meet Pierre, a real SupporTrends customer and VP of Customer Experience at Ordermark Inc., a restaurant software company. Like many, he uses Salesforce Service Cloud to support his customers. And while he has a pretty good handle on time to resolution, call volume, traditional call center metrics like that, he is unable to see the important themes in his data, much less solve for them. For example, what questions do customers ask most frequently? So Pierre connects Salesforce to SupporTrends, and in about 30 seconds, he's well on his way to finding out. Right away, he can see the most frequently asked question topics from his customers and can use these to direct the onboarding team to address these concerns before they become support cases. He can even see the best agent responses sorted by resulting customer sentiment, but more on that in a minute. In this case, he discovered the most important customer issues, worked with his onboarding team to improve training, and expects to reduce overall ticket volume by 15 to 20%, saving almost $6,000 per month. And this is in addition to the multi-channel natural language analytics that SupporTrends already provides that can show customer churn indicators and drivers, NPS factors and impacts, and just about anything else that's trending up or down, regardless of whether or not the customer knows to look for it. We're able to do things like this because we need no customization in a new environment and can deploy in as little as 30 seconds. We offer voice and text analysis side by side and have an integrated business intelligence platform. Pricing starts at about $500 a month and goes up from there based on the number of conversations that our customers process. Currently, we have 10 integrations with more on the way and 7 paying customers with a rapidly growing funnel, as you can see on the right, with Avon, Delta Dental, Open Table, and Flextronics all added to this funnel in the last couple of weeks. Why this sudden interest? Because our machine learning is getting better and better. For example, even when call recordings look like this, and they often do, our platform knows what customers and agents say and separates them automatically, enabling detailed customer insight for all types of real-world support conversations. Our CAC and onboarding are fairly low. Our lifetime value is about $24,000, allowing recurring revenue to grow at 65% per quarter since last year. But we're really excited about the next 4 quarters because we just introduced machine learning that identifies churn before it happens, delivering triaged lists of customers that are at the highest risk, notifying the appropriate teams via Slack, and even directly rescuing customers. And our new Zendesk agent integration actively suggests contextual responses based on the resulting customer sentiment and frequency of use, cutting agent workload significantly in this example. Additionally, we now integrate with Jira and Asana to allow product teams to take an automated and data-driven approach to development, leaving behind the world of manual subjective road mapping for good. Tapping into these new markets will accelerate our growth to $100 million in ARR by the year 2025. My co-founder, Jason, and I have worked together for almost 10 years now, solving real problems like this for real customers like Pierre, and we invite you to join us on our journey here today. Thank you. My name's Oliver, co-founder of SupporTrends, and we are your customer experience superhero. I look forward to your questions.
All right. Thanks so much, Oliver. Sorry, Jason, I ran over you last time, so you didn't get a chance to say. Are you there, Jason?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great.
So, this is another one of those companies in a category we love, which is support is something people are really investing in a major way. And anything that can level that up, make it faster, better, is going to have some number of customers. It's one of the reasons we love SaaS, is because the founders can get in the game, get some revenue going, and then that flywheel starts, as opposed to consumer or marketplaces where firing up the flywheel is hard. So this was like a very, very easy investment for us to make. And so far they've got some great growth. And I think that's something we don't talk about in these demo days is we don't go too deep into the traction, but that's the first thing I would ask as an investor in this level or zone of company is to dig into that engagement metrics. Okay, I'll let you go to Q&A. Sorry, I don't want to filibuster.
Thanks, Jason. No, I appreciate that. Dion, you are next. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to see everybody that I know and those that I'm just seeing for the first time. Okay, so primarily an entrepreneur. Background is Waze, and I have another construction tech company now. I'm a venture partner at Obvious Ventures, which focuses on world positive investments, mostly 5 million plus Series A or B. Investing in things like Diamond Foundry, Beyond Meat, Lilium, things that we think are real game changer industries with a lot of positive impact, not just on the revenue, but for climate and other important topics. Also an active angel investor. My personal check size is more like 25 to 50K a piece. And for later stage, I also have a SPAC. Okay, so that's enough.
Awesome.
Really exciting space. I love the support space. I've been digging in on that quite a bit lately. I love how you're putting the whole ecosystem together. And this was not a tip off from Jason, but I wanted to know of the customers you already have, what are they actually using? Because you mentioned these different features. What are they actually using? And how is it going for them? And because I noticed that your revenue, it's growing, but it's pretty small. So how are you proving to them that there's enough value in the engagement that they're willing to pay for it and pay more over time?
All right. Thank you so much. Next, Elias. Name, firm, average check size, and if you have a thesis, please, and then your questions.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Elias Can. I'm an MBA associate with Supernode Ventures. We're based in Flatiron in New York City. In terms of average check size, typically 50K to 100K, focused exclusively on pre-seed and seed investments. We are generalists, though tend to steer more towards B2B SaaS, but do have interest in other areas like fintech, digital health, and logistics. And my question for the team is, what is your retention rate so far with existing customers, and have any churned?
Perfect. Thank you so much. Kevin Lynch.
Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for the presenters for getting up here and doing this. And thanks to Jason for organizing. My name's Kevin. I work on pre-seed and seed stage investments at MGV. We're a single LP family office. that mostly focuses on enterprise. Started my career at Crunch Fund, now Tuesday Capital, alongside Pat Gallagher and Prashant Fonseca, the current partners, and Michael Arrington, the founder of TechCrunch, who now runs a crypto fund. We had a specific focus on helping founders with storytelling, branding, access to the media. And when my partner Mark and I co-founded MGV, we wanted to bring a similar kind of focus pitch to founders and decided to focus on helping build and scale sales and go-to-market teams. We typically start off with $250,000 average investment in pre-seed and seed stage rounds, and we'll kind of follow on from there. I also wanted to give a shout out to Jason. This Week in Startups was the first tech podcast that I religiously listened to pretty much every episode. So thanks for doing all that.
I don't know who this guy is, but he's really smart.
And then my question for the company is that you have an incredible list of customers and folks in the pipeline. I'd love to dig a little bit more into who you're selling to, what core problem you're solving for them, and then what core problem you're solving for the users. I imagine it's an incredibly complicated space, and would just love to learn more about that because I'm not too smart in the space.
All right, awesome. Thanks so much. And Kevin Zhang from Bain.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for having me. An honor to be here. I'm Kevin. I'm a partner at Bain Capital Ventures. I come from the fintech, marketplaces, small business, and lending world. I was first business hire. I ran product for a company here in New York called Fundera, marketplace for small business financing. Was with the company from seed through, we sold the business last year at NerdWallet. Now at BCV, my focus is seed and Series A investments, anywhere from $250K to $20 million round sizes. We just raised our 9th fund here, which is about a little over $1 billion. And so the group as a whole can invest, at any stage, including growth. We all just tend to specialize a bit based on our personal preferences and interests. I say we try to keep multiple theses throughout different practice areas. Within fintech, for example, one area we're particularly interested in is how financial services are becoming embedded in the software services and companies we interact with every day. I guess 2 questions from me, or one would be better understanding any cost structure associated with providing transcription, identifying identifying and adding punctuation, things like that. And then secondly is, I think you mentioned a few competitors. I'd love to hear, are there any that you think are particularly vigorous, venture-backed, versus coal miner, some of the more established companies? Or how do you think about the younger competitors to your business, and how do you think about platform competition from Service Cloud or Zendesk, et cetera?
All right, thanks so much. And one from our syndicate member, Eduardo, is asking, how does the tool estimate churn likelihood? You want to take those? Oliver, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, hopefully I can get to them all. So Dion, you had a great question about proving value and what customers are using. I think what got us here was deep analytics on natural language from a variety of sources. The common theme in our early customers was, hey, we have all these channels that customers communicate to us with. They're disparate and we don't know what they're saying anyway. So we solve for that by understanding the natural language from your support tickets, your phone calls, your product reviews, your surveys, all the above. And Kevin Lynch had a similar question. That persona that we initially target is a director of customer experience, can be a VP or something similar, or relate to customer care, customer service. But that's our initial persona that we're targeting. Elias, retention rate. So up until last month, we had 0 churn. We actually just lost our first customer in a way because she's transitioning to a new company and bringing us there. But for the month of June, we were calling that churn. That was after 16 months of usage of the platform, and we'll likely get that customer back here in the next month or 2. Kevin's on cost. So our margins are roughly 60 to 80%, and that's largely dependent on whether we're processing audio I think you mentioned speaker separation. Audio in general is expensive for us because there's that transcription phase, and that technology is relatively expensive. But after that, costs are pretty low, and we're able to maintain pretty good margins. Competitors, I base my kind of competitive landscape analysis on the customer interviews that I do. We never see call miner. I'm going to have to finish up, I think, offline, but we don't see a lot of competition, long story short, and the tool estimates churn via machine learning and the analysis of actual churn customers.
Hey, thank you, Oliver. And you have a lot more questions in the Q&A box. Thank you, syndicate members, for putting your questions there and tagging the companies. Next up, Matt from Taskable.
Hi, everyone.
Go ahead, Jason. I see you.
You're trying to find my unmute. God. I wish it would just be AI.
I'm too fast.
The second I start talking, it just starts doing that. All right, listen, everybody wants to be more efficient. Task management has a long history of people who are very passionate about it. And we have really refined our focus on founders who build beautiful, elegant products, because when we looked in the past at Uber, Wealthfront, Robinhood, Calm, etc., yada, yada. All of them had really refined products like Diane Eisner's Ways, another beautiful, well-crafted product. Nice to see you, Diane. So Taskable had that for us, and they were in MVP, I believe, when we acquired them. Correct me if I'm wrong. And they launched during the Accelerator, 25% week over week growth, 250 signups per week. And they just turned on their paid plans, like I think yesterday or something, and they got a dozen people on that. So they're raising a small amount of money and or at a reasonable valuation. I can't say what those are because this is a public demo day, but I think this is just a great space. And every 5 or 10 years, somebody makes a better version and then winds up selling it for $100 million to a company. I hope they don't sell and they keep building it, but I don't want to steal their thunder. 3, 2, go.
Thanks, Jason. Hi, I'm Matt, co-founder of Taskable. We're building the productivity assistant that keeps you in flow. Let me show you how it works. Meet Priyanka, co-founder of Wearwell and a real Taskable power user. As a founder, Priyanka has to keep tabs on multiple tools. Her marketing team lives in Asana, her engineering tasks are in Clubhouse, and documentation lives in Notion or Google Drive. Plus, action items are shared in Slack, email, even her LinkedIn DMs. And the list goes on. She's constantly losing focus. We're building Taskable to give knowledge workers like Priyanka back the 2 hours per day they lose due to context switching. Here's how our go-to-market product works. First, Taskable enables Priyanka to aggregate everything into a single view using our integrations. So here she is setting up the Asana integration with a few clicks, and Taskable imports everything assigned to her. She captures those important action items popping up amongst the cat gifts with the Slack integration. The calendar integration shows her day at a glance. And finally, the browser extension acts as a catch-all, so Priyanka can save critical thoughts and web pages from anywhere on the web. Next, we help Priyanka actually manage all this new information. She triages through her new tasks and schedules them into her workflow. And then Taskable helps Priyanka plan each day by suggesting the highest leverage items she should be working on. Priyanka says, I love using Taskable. It's a great solution for a busy early stage founder working across multiple projects and tools. But this current version is just the starting point. Our bigger vision for Taskable is a smart assistant for your digital life, helping you navigate the tools you use on a daily basis. We'll automate the inflow of relevant information from places like Slack and email into Taskable, bundle relevant information together, and provide you with the context you need when you need it. No more searching across multiple tools for information. Taskable will also enable you to write to your other tools, such as sending a quick email, and even build workflow automations. You can start with Taskable from wherever you are. For example, finding leads in LinkedIn and adding them to your CRM. So those tedious tasks can be completed with just a couple clicks. There are players in the space, but no one has cracked this yet. We believe the reason is most existing tools optimize for collaboration. We're focusing on the single user experience and helping you get deep, focused work done. We launched out a closed beta at the beginning of the year and averaged over 25% week-on-week new user signups. And we also launched paid plans of our first 13 paid users. Our most engaged users are founders, freelancers, makers, and project managers. They start and end their day with Taskable and keep it open throughout the day to stay on top of their priorities. We're focused on this ideal customer profile as we go to market. They struggle having to work across multiple contexts. We're beginning to turn to adjacent personas, such as agency employees, investors, and later enterprise employees as we find product market fit. The bottom-up proposition drives us to 10 million ARR with 30,000 paying users in 2024. and we'll turn our focus to B2B in 2023 to get to 100 million ARR by 2026. Tom and I are both second-time founders, and we worked together for 2 years before starting Taskable. Along with launch, we were also selected as pioneers last year. Thank you. I'm Matt, co-founder of Taskable, and we're building the productivity assistant that keeps you in flow.
All right. Well done, Matt. Okay, investors, introduce yourselves, name, firm, average check size, and if you have a thesis, please. Next up is Lorenzo. Hi, Lorenzo.
Hey there, I'm Lorenzo Tione. I'm a partner at Giggl, which is a large venture investment syndicate focused on diversity and leadership in venture. We're multi-stage, multi-sector, very generalist. So we invest from very early all the way to very late stage. We checks that go from 50,000 to multiple $1 million. So very broad. My question is, so would love to know more about what you're seeing from the paid test and where you actually going to sort of figure your CAC is gonna get to, and ultimately what's your sense of all these tools? As Jason actually mentioned, every few years one pops up and they never seem to kind of get to the very large scale. What's your sense of why that is, and how is yours going to be different?
Thanks so much, Lorenzo. Robert.
Hi, everyone. Great to meet you all. I'm Robert. I'm at Maven Ventures. We're a early stage consumer software focused venture firm. Our typical check size is about $1 million in seed rounds and sometimes pre-seed rounds. And my question for the founder is similar to Lorenzo's, but just more about distribution and how you expect to get this in the hands of millions and millions of people.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Scott.
Yeah, I'm Scott Shane with Comeback Capital. We invest in seed and pre-seed stage rounds less than $1 million in companies that are not in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, New York, or Boston, anywhere else. We write $200,000 checks. Our LPs are active investors and tend to sidecar for about $5 for every dollar we put in, focusing mostly on software and software-enabled devices. I'll just say that this is the season for launch companies. I think last July we did 3 launch companies. So that's what we do in July when other people go on vacation. My question is, what is special about the early adopters that make them more interested in your product than the other customers out there?
All right. Thank you, Scott. Sumit.
Hey, everybody. Sumit Shah. I run operations and infrastructure for an early and growth stage venture capital firm known as SwiftArc Ventures. We're consumer and healthcare focused, operating out of our early and growth stage funds in the world of products and technology. Our check size from 50 to 250K up in the early stage, which is seed and Series A with a little bit of pre-seed. We also then have in the multiple millions on our growth side. We're also working on new initiatives, one in the future of beauty, one in the future of telehealth, and one in the future of sustainable foods through an upcoming SPAC. Prior to this, I helped start SwiftArc in the early 2019, and prior to that, in early 2014, was the first employee at another early stage consumer firm known as Brand Foundry. We're invested in companies like Lola, The Wing, Rockets of Awesome, The Sill, Warby, Birchbox, Harry's Peloton, et cetera, all early investments. My question, I guess, is really about the mix between B2B and B2C and pricing models. I know that's still early as you're still working through a couple of the paid betas. I just would love to understand the pricing strategy and correlation with some of the previous questions in terms of how you're also getting distribution and customer acquisition.
All right, great. And from Syndicate, Christopher is asking, does it integrate with CRM systems? 2 minutes, 3 to go.
Awesome, thanks for the question. So from the paid test, what we're learning, so right now it was a 14-day trial, then we upped it to a 30-day trial. We're gonna turn on a freemium plan, and then you have to upgrade to use some of the premium integrations, because what we're learning is it takes longer than 14 or even 30 days to actually build the habit and start to use the product. So we want to give away the sort of core product for free, and then really sort of tie the value proposition to those integrations. So that's what we're learning. You know, we're still playing around with pricing point. We do want it to be sort of a premium product like a Superhuman, so $30 a month. But obviously in the early days, we don't have quite the same bells and whistles, and the product's not as slick quite yet. But that's our goal. What's different is that, you know, we're really focusing on these deeper integrations. We're also focusing on simplicity. So a lot of these tools are very prescriptive. They're really, it's another tool that's on top of all the things you're already using. You have to spend a lot of time maintaining. You have to spend a lot of time going to these other tools, copying and pasting things in. So we want to focus on simplicity and having these deep integrations so that it is another tool, but it's helping you save time because you're not actually having to go into these other tools and search around and get lost while you're there. To Robert's question about distribution, so we've started off with a lot with content, some cold emails to target audiences. But we're also trying to build in some product-led growth ideas. So for example, we have these checklist templates. We have a checklist for launching on product hunt and various other things, a startup growth checklist. Users can import those into their accounts. And we've had friends of ours build them from their companies. And so it's a nice little partnership we can build with other people. So things like that, things that show off the product, people then can create their own checklists, share them, and help people sort of manage products or projects. So that's something we're focusing on. But yeah, a lot of content, a lot of SEO. We've also experimented with Google Ads, and so we can see we can scale up there as well. Scott, what's special about the early adopters? A lot of them are founders or people working on multiple projects. They're super busy. They have a lot to manage. And so this is a simple tool for them to use. The B2B model remains to be seen. But yeah, I think I mentioned just the freemium models that we're going to focus on next. And yes, we do plan to integrate with CRM. Sorry about that.
Sorry. No worries, Matt. Good job. It's really hard. All right. Next up, Erin from Wearwell. Erin?
Yeah, just say time. That's always my way of saying time. Okay, I am the least fashionable person. So I can't speak to all these incredible products that people are embracing around fashion, but Erin's customers can. And these online memberships seem to be super addicting to people who are much younger than I. And they seem like a great way to reduce waste in the world, which I'm kind of getting obsessed with. And maybe it's because I have kids and I'm getting older, but like I hate wasting anything or using plastic anymore. So I really love the sustainable stuff. It hasn't gotten to my wardrobe yet, but it will. As an example, I love this Topo Chico. I don't know if you guys are drinking this sparkling water. And now I just save the bottles and I make iced tea in them because I don't like to waste them. And then I found these little rubber caps on Amazon that reclose the bottle. And so I'm just like trying to live that sustainable, crazy life. And I think that this is going to happen in fashion. And the 1,000+ members are, how we like to make decisions. So when we see customers who can't shut up about a product and they don't quit using it, that's enough for us to make these early bets. And we saw that here. Okay. 3, 2, go.
Thanks, Jason. Hi, everyone. I'm Erin Houston, co-founder of Wearwell, an online membership service to shop for sustainable clothes. Meet Liz. She is a Wearwell member and one of the 34 million women today who wants to make a positive impact on the world when she chooses to make a purchase. Yet when Liz goes to buy new clothes, she knows that the fashion industry is the second largest polluting of our planet today. It's not just bad for the environment, it's also bad for the people who make our clothes. She's tried subscription box services, but they can't tell her much at all about the impact of what they've sent her. And she knows that their business model has an enormous carbon footprint. So Liz is left to search on her own, wading her way through a sea of confusing certifications and terminology, and gets lost trying to figure out what's greenwashing and what's not. Fed up with her search, Liz instead turns to Wearwell, where she takes a brief style quiz and she signs up for membership. As a part of her membership, Liz receives a monthly online selection of ethically and sustainably made clothing that is curated just for her. She can read clearly about the social and environmental impact of every single item, learning, for example, that this yellow dress was made in a zero waste factory that pays its female garment workers a living wage, because we've done all of the work for her of vetting our brand partners on specific wage and environmental impact criteria. So Liz and our other members buy from us every month because we have transformed their approach to shopping. We make money through our monthly membership fees, as well as the sale of clothing and accessories that we source from our brand partners. Our average order value today is $136, and we make on average a 55% margin for every product that we sell. Despite a global pandemic, Wearwell has been growing every single month. Today, we are serving over 1,000 paying monthly members, and we just closed out $80K in sales this past quarter. We're the only company that is curating clothing for the conscious consumer. Companies adjacent to our own either aren't able to source from emerging brands that really walk the talk in our space, or they don't actually solve Liz's problem of endlessly scrolling in the first place. We're testing out 6 different acquisition channels today, one of which are our marketing partnerships, like what we've built with Bar3. It's been fantastic for our brand awareness. It's resulted in an up to 10% conversion rate, and it's allowed us to acquire high-value customers just like Callie, who in the first 6 months of her membership spent over $1,000 with Wearwell, but it cost us $0 to acquire her. We do have a paid element to our acquisition. The blended CAC today is $29, and our lifetime value is growing every single month because of our strong retention rates. When we're serving 60,000 monthly members, we will be doing 10 million in revenue. And to get to 100 million, we'll be serving 170,000 monthly members, which is just 0.5% of our market. So we don't plan to stop there. We'll extend into home goods and clean beauty and partner with large retailers. Our team was just recognized through an award from Klarna, a leader in e-com tech. And together we have a combined 30 years of experience in e-commerce, online membership sales, and impact measurement expertise. I'm Erin Houston, co-founder of Wearwell, where we make it easy for women to dress like they give a damn. Look forward to your questions. Thank you.
All right. Well done, Erin. Okay, Winnie, welcome. Thanks for your patience. Last in the alphabet.
Hi, everyone. I'm Winnie. I'm an investor with M13. We're an early stage consumer tech fund based out of LA, investing out of our third fund. And honestly, we're just very excited about, companies powering a large portion of the consumer wallet share. So thinking about healthcare, fintech, e-com, like big areas, consumer spend. Within this space, Erin, we are early investors in Rothy's, which is like shoes from recycled water, Carbon 38, Bonobo. So definitely within our sweet spot. My question for you is, and our check sizes are between, so we lead, our sweet spot's like leading Series A with like 5 to 10 million, or doing a C check for about, 500K to 1.5 million, pretty flexible on that. My key question around you is like with subscription boxes, like almost a sustainable Stitch Fix. What is the churn like for your first existing 1,000 customers? What's kind of like been the renewal drop-off rate, and kind of like walk me through a little bit of that?
All right. Thanks so much, Winnie. Other investors, I'll go back around the horn alphabetically, but if you have a burning question, always write, you can write QQ in the chat room like Samit just did. Samit, what's your question, please?
There we go. Hey, Erin. Great to connect again with this. It's actually a question and a statement. Just a quick statement. I know that you had H&M in your deck, and you had the cross stuff there. I would just slightly recommend changing that, actually maybe to a Forever 21, only because H&M launched a sustainability focused investment firm, and they've been actually taking a lot of investments into great companies. A-Day, for those who may know them, is the technical fabric and everyday women's wear brand. They have a member on their board now, so they're looking to go deeper from this. Just a quick side note. I guess I'd love to really understand how you're sourcing and how you're discovering your manufacturers and your artisans. That's the big burning question for me, and I'm very curious as to how you're also maintaining those relationships with those internally.
All right, thank you for that question. And Lorenzo, you have a question?
Yeah. So, hey, awesome. Just quick question around what your return rates are, if any, and then you sort of compared yourself to the sustainable Stitch Fix, but by saying that your persona, your customer persona, actually knows that that business model is highly unsustainable. How do you differentiate yours in that respect, with respect to the sustainability of sending stuff?
All right, thank you, Lorenzo. And back around to Andrea. Question for Erin.
Yes, hi. I was just writing it in the
I see that.
box. No worries. So we actually do also invest in retail. We were early investors in a company called Third Love, which is a women's lingerie company. At any rate, definitely like the presentation. And my question was around the upcycle competition. As someone that actually is addicted to buying clothes online, I spend a lot of time at ThredUp, the Real, Tradesy. I didn't know if you consider those companies to also be part of your competitive set, because they also pride themselves on, if you look at their marketing, it always says like, oh, buying these, recycled Valentino shoes just saved $30,000 in, recycled waste or whatever it is. So I didn't know if you considered them to be part of your competitive set. That's my question.
All right, terrific. And Anonymous from the Syndicate is asking why membership and not just free to use. So tackle those, Erin, 2 minutes.
All right. That's a lot of questions. Thank you, everyone. Lorenzo, I'll start with yours and just go in order. Return rates you asked about. Our return rates hover right around 18% every month. 22% is standard e-commerce. So we're not seeing an uptick there. In fact, we're seeing that we do a pretty good job of getting the right product in front of the right person. In terms of the differentiation of sustainability, actually, I'm going out of order. Apologies, Winnie. I'll come back to yours. In terms of differentiation with sustainability, with a Stitch Fix, for example, our business model has a 75% lower carbon footprint. Also, because we're not sending the product out right away for the customer to try on at home, it means that we can actually not have to deal with putting that product in landfill or finding some other place for that product to go if it comes back damaged. Sumit, thank you so much for that question, particularly around sourcing. I do want to touch on what you mentioned about H&M. Great that they're investing in sustainability, but they have a lot of work to do on cleaning up their own supply chain. And so what we really look at when it comes to the sourcing aspect is that we work with brands who make an impact in the actual making of every product that they create. We have about 40 partnerships today and about 200 more in our pipeline, and put them through a criteria for specifically fair and living wage and some sort of environmental impact mitigation. Happy to share more on our methodology there. Winnie, thanks for that question around churn and trends and renewals. Long story short here, our churn is very low. Our month-to-month retention has been between 91 and 96% every single month, except for the month of March 2020, which we all know what happened then. So it's been great to see it stay steady since then. Andrea, you asked a question about upcycling and competition. Definitely a part of our ecosystem. We're playing alongside of them. We just launched 2 months ago our Wearwell Again program, which is our resale program to sell gently used products we want sold back to our customer base. And the question around why membership, we find that if we can get someone to give us $8.50 per month, they're much more likely to open the email we send them. Thank you.
All right. Sorry, Erin. Thank you so much. Okay, next up is Vince from Trybe.
Hey, everyone.
Okay, Jason. Yeah, Jason's trying to unmute himself. Go ahead, Jason.
One second. So we have had great success in fitness and anything that's in the self-improvement space, musician and tone bass, and Steezy in music and dance, Fitbod, Calm, and Storybook in meditation. And so we really, really like anything that helps people do this and then, make themselves better in some way. And it's also really nice when you can help people make a living. So this company fit that exact criteria. And also, since it's enterprise software, essentially, I think that makes it really easier to get that flywheel going through revenue as opposed to, consumer and marketplaces like we talked about. So with that, 3, 2, go.
Thank you, Jason. Hey, I'm Vince, co-founder of Trybe, and we're building the Shopify for fitness creators. Meet Tom. He's one of our creators, and he's a YouTuber who's an expert in bodyweight training. His biggest goal is to have the freedom to work on his content full time, but he can't rely on YouTube for his income because they have low CPMs and unpredictable monthly views. So Tom partners with us to build his online fitness business. Tom logs into our dashboard to build a reusable movement library. He can then create a new bodyweight workout within seconds. Once he's done, he shares his app with his followers, telling them about the new content. His users sign up and subscribe to get access to his app with all of Tom's carefully designed training programs. Users can swap exercises to personalize each program and learn how to do each exercise properly with videos and form cues to get the best results. After partnering with Trybe, we've helped Tom earn 85 times more than Patreon because he can now provide much more value to his members. We've become Tom's largest source of income, helping him earn more than YouTube, merchandise, and anything else. And with our income, he's even been able to buy a new home. COVID accelerated online fitness, and this shift is here to stay. 66% of people say that after the pandemic, they plan to continue exercising at home. It also increased our reliance on fitness creators. A whopping 72% of YouTube's 2.3 billion monthly active users used it to exercise. That translates to 1.6 billion people who now rely on fitness content creators. Our competitors are aggregators that make their creators a commodity. Instead, creators want a direct connection with their customers, which is why we've built the first Shopify-like platform for fitness creators. We're the only to give creators their own branded app, custom pricing and promotions, and we let them own their customers. Fans pay a subscription to access exclusive content, and we charge 20%. We earned 7.8K in MRR last month with 37K in gross revenue. We're growing at 15% month over month with over 2,000 paying subscribers and a monthly retention of 88%. We've brought on 27 creators who are seeing real success and earning more with us over time. In fact, after migrating them from other products like PDFs and Patreon, we've increased their sales by an average of 585%. The market is still untapped, with 84% of even the largest fitness creators still selling PDFs. Because creators follow each other, every launch fuels our flywheel with more creators discovering us. We now have a growing waitlist of over 300 with no paid ads. To reach 100 million in ARR, we'll bring on 2.9 million subscribers by 2027, which represents just 0.2% of the 1.6 billion people who now rely on fitness creators. Andrew and I bring years of experience in tech, sales, and fitness from companies like Google and Netflix, and we have the expertise needed to make this a success. I'm Vince, co-founder of Trybe, and we're building Shopify for fitness creators. Looking forward to your questions.
All right, well done, Vince. Andrew, you are up next. Question for Vince.
Yeah, so one of my biggest investments so far and biggest success is a company called Lunchbox, and Lunchbox is like a Shopify for restaurants. They use it to white label, create their own app and ordering solutions. And one of the things there that's really critical is that they have these built-in audiences already, and I guess you have that kind of too with these influencers. I like to understand like a little bit more about what the expected GMV is per influencer and how that compares to the onboarding cost and creative cost to getting them set up.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Ben.
Righty. Okay. So I would be interested in how you think about future expansion once you dominate this category. I know that's a big category. I'm sort of a user, but usually people will sort of have a path forward after that, and I didn't really hear that part. So if this is big enough, that's fine. But if not, is it rolling forward to yoga or CrossFit or whatever? I guess CrossFit falls into your core. So future plans.
Thank you. Connor.
Yep. One of my key questions is kind of, it seems like very much like a fat tail business, right? Like you have some creators, I think you put a couple up there on the screen that have 1 million+ subscribers, and across other platforms too. So really wondering, like, when you get those larger creators, the 1 million+ volume in existing audience, what does that look like, and how much of that wallet share are you able to take on? It's kind of directly related to the GMV question, but for the people who are, already across YouTube, across Instagram, across other, products, and might have paid subscriptions and content elsewhere, how are you able to bring more of that onto your platform? Thanks.
All right, great. And Lorenzo, you have a question.
Yeah, just really quick. What are, besides the transaction on the sort of transaction piece on selling the program right now that you're doing, are there other directions of revenue generating product features that you have, live on one-on-one coaching, all of that kind of stuff that could expand the overall revenue source?
All right, thank you. And Phil from Syndicate is asking, how are you differentiated from Playbook? 2 minutes, Vince.
Awesome. Thanks for the great questions. Andrew, you talked about, you asked us what's the expected GMV per influencer and how does that compare to onboarding costs? So far, we've only spent $1,000 on creator acquisition, and we found that creators can earn over $200,000 per year through our platform. In terms of what we find as, one, our creators very engaged. As long as they earn over $300 per month, they are extremely engaged and they're sending content to us every month very proactively. And as a point of reference, on Patreon, if a creator earns over $500 per month, they have a higher than 99% annual retention rate because they're getting enough value from the platform, and because the platform is so sticky because all their subscribers are there. So that's the metric that we like to hit as well, over $500 per month. In terms of where do we plan to expand after fitness, which fitness is a huge market, we plan to expand into meditation. Meditation is a massive market as well, with Calm, Headspace, and we believe it's a very similar problem that we're solving. And there are many experts who also want to build a business and have expertise, but they just don't have the funds to build a mobile app and reach the whole world. So that's where we plan to expand next. For major creators, how are we able to bring more of the audience onto the platform? One of the key metrics we focus on is helping creators earn as much as possible with as little time as possible. So earnings per time spent. And on that front, if we can have a very high number there, then creators will prioritize us as the top thing that they promote on their social media. And for that, we actually have, we're the number one for all of our creators. And we've managed to do that because not only are they earning more through Trybe, we've increased their earnings by an average of 585%, for example, after bringing them over from PDFs and Patreon. But we also reduce the time it takes for them to create monthly content. When it previously took them days, it now takes only hours because of our exercise library. And I think that's time. I'm happy to elaborate more in the chat. Thank you.
All right. Well done, Vince. Okay. Next up, we have Tony from Giggle.
Hey, everyone. Let me just begin by sharing my screen.
Okay.
Okay. You know, this was an interesting one because the founders were underage and I wasn't sure if they needed to get a permission slip from their parents to come to the accelerator. I kid you not. And their product was so extraordinary that even, you know, really early, we had no choice but to accept them. And they were able, I guess, I don't know if I should, okay to mention the fundraising stuff or not yet, Tony?
Yeah.
Like the first part of it? Okay.
Yeah.
So once in a while, you know, and just so people know, we don't tell our founders in our founder partners, I should say, they're not our founders, they're our partners. We don't tell our founder partners what they should do in terms of fundraising. And we certainly don't make them wait until the demo day to raise money like some other folks do to create like a marketplace with FOMO and high pressure. We tell them, hey, start raising in week 0. I mean, you can start raising the second you are signed up for the accelerator. We don't want to stop you. And they were able to raise around very quickly in the early weeks of the accelerator. And then I think they're considering their options to do something additional in the future, but that's up to them. So that happens, I think, with 1, maybe 2 of the companies each time. So for folks who like to come later to our accelerator demo day, you know, just expect 1 or 2 companies might get funded before then. Some people like to come in the early weeks 1 through 5, specifically for this reason, and then they come back at the end to see how the company's improved. So that's a nice strategy I see some people deploying, and we love to have you come twice if now that we're in Zoom and we have the room, as opposed to being in a room when we didn't have the room, when we were in a physical room. Because now everything in fundraising is Loom, Zoom, and then in the room, if you understand my position. Okay, 3, 2, go.
Hey everyone, I'm Tony Zog and I'm a co-founder of Giggle, the multiplayer browser. So in short, Giggle is a new social platform that's accessible on the web, and users get a virtual Chrome session that we call portals, and they can invite their friends to and all browse together in real time. Portals can be public or private. Public portals will appear on the Discover page, and private portals require an invite. Creating a portal is so easy. It just takes 2 steps and that's it. You can start browsing. You can then invite your friends through the app or send them a URL invite. You can then send messages in the chat and even start a voice call. And the best part is you can browse and pass control to any participant in the session so they can continue browsing right where you left off. So let me just show you a few examples of how our users currently use our platform. Here are a group of users who use Giggle, and they're planning their next trip abroad after COVID. And they use Giggle to search for flights and Airbnbs. And instead of sending links everywhere and screen sharing, where it all gets messy, they can all search together in real time, pass control, and make sure everyone gets a turn. One more example, here's Leia. She's an associate at a venture firm. They're having their weekly meeting where everyone comes in and discusses the cool startups they find. And you can see Leia showing one of the companies she's found. And it's passing control to everyone in the team so everyone can demo the product. And here, these are just a few examples of how you can use Giggle. Since it's a fresh, untouched browser, there are hundreds of potential use cases like learning together, research projects, and so much more. And a recurring theme that we're told is we always make it seem like our users are in the same room and huddled around and watching the same computer screen. We're going to be generating revenue through a Zoom-style-based approach, where the basic features are free, moving on to a paid plan that's aimed at individual consumers, and then a business plan for companies. And we're currently working with our investors alongside record labels who use Giggle to curate music from their signed artists in order to approach the features for the business plan. We aim to achieve 10 million in ARR by splitting our revenue 40 to 60% across our 2 plans, and we aim to hit this by the end of next year. And respectively, 100 million in ARR through the same channels, if not more, by the end of 2024 on the basis that we have a 7.5% conversion rate. We currently have over 60,000 users signed up, 60% from word of mouth, and 40% from a TikTok that went viral, peaking in at about 18,000 monthly active users last month, with over 400,000 average sessions. That totaled 7.5 years in watch time across our users. And we're expecting to hit 500,000 sessions and 500,000 users and 10 million sessions a month by Q4 of this year. We don't have much competition in terms of what we do. The main competitors actually play a poorer infrastructure, meaning they can only support 8 websites and are stuck to streaming only, versus Giggle, which supports any and all 400 million active websites. And this lets us take a move into any market. And one thing that we're going to be working on this summer is live events. As a trial run, we hosted the Apple event a few weeks ago for about 200 total participants, where they used the chat to talk about the new software releases. And as you can see, they were all quite excited towards the end, hoping for a new release, alongside the voice call to all react in real time. Furthermore, we've raised a seed round of $2 million to help us with technology, marketing, hiring, and innovation. And although we're closing this round, we're potentially doing an extension for value adds and a Series A round later. This is the team behind Giggle, 3 developers and a product lead / designer. We're all 18 and 19 years old. Once again, I'm Tony Zog, co-founder of Giggle, the multiplayer browser. Looking forward to questions.
All right, well done, Tony. Okay, investors, Diane, you're up next.
Oh, I'm so excited about your age and your so you mentioned the constraints that your competition has, and I just want to ask, what is your moat now technically or strategically that's giving you that, because you mentioned something very specific, like they can only support 8 websites or something. Why can you do more and other people can't?
All right, thank you so much. Elias.
Yeah, thanks. I thought it was great to see the number of users and sessions, and I'm just curious to drill down a little more in terms of what you've seen so far in terms of average time spent per user per session.
Thank you very much. Kevin Lynch.
This is super cool. I'm going to go play around with it right after we hop off. I would love to hear a little bit more about who your power user is now and who you're designing the kind of future product for. And what features you're optimizing for. Because I can imagine you can go down the creator route, you can go down the musician route, you can have a lot of very specific toolings built for different audiences. So I'd love to hear more about that.
All right, great. Kevin Chang.
It's great to meet you and great presentation. 2 for me. One is, can you talk about, when you think about the business use cases, how you think about the core, it's related to Kevin Lynch's question, how you think about the core business, how people use it for their work, and then relatedly, maybe you can speak a little bit to sort of alternatives. So do you think about the video conferencing products at all that allow you to share access for remote control? Do you see them as alternatives for competition?
All right, terrific. And from our syndicate, Gianpolo asks, how will you handle copyright problems? Example, people streaming Netflix, etc. All right, 2 minutes, Tony, for those. Take it, please.
All right, so thanks for the questions. Elias, we have seen on average, we've seen sessions range around 40 minutes. Although the longest we've ever seen in a session has been, I think it's went over 6 hours once. Kevin Lynch, who our power users are. So it's just people who, late at night just want to mess about, watch videos, play sort of mini games. Like last night, we had about 30, 40 people playing GeoGuessr together. And who we're designing it for, it's really meant to be designed for everyone. So we're making it so it's this collaborative app where you can pass control, use voice calling, you'll be able to message people, and it's going to create essentially, be a platform that, goes against Discord and Zoom to sort of combine all these features alongside this massive, virtual browser feature alongside that. Kevin Zhang, what are our business use cases? So we've had record labels use Giggle to curate music together from their signed artists. So pre-COVID, they do this in a meeting room, but now, post-COVID, and then also with the rise of remote work, Giggle's become a massive solution for them. We've seen design teams just browse through Dribbble, brainstorm together. We've had people do sort of product demos. Being able to pass control helps with that massively. And as for sort of video conferencing tools that are an alternative for competition, it does sort of the video conferencing, they have this, they have screen sharing, but that doesn't really give the solution of having this one shared workspace. And then also with having to pass control, on stuff like Zoom and TeamViewer in the past, it's required you to install stuff and then edit permissions and then restart. And, it's all a mess. And with Giggle, it's just literally one tap, you can pass control, and that's literally it. And Jiamto from the syndicate, how do we handle copyright problems? So anything that you do in the portal, it's the liability falls on the user. So it's currently gray area, but we are ready to implement sort of OAuth for Netflix or whatever platform where each user would have to sign in individually. So we are ready for that. Thank you.
All right, well done, Tony. Okay, and for our 7th founder, we have Ryan from Outfit. You ready to go, Ryan?
Yes.
And Jason? Jason, you are still muted. There you go.
Sorry. So we have had some great success in the influencer space, which is now kind of morphing more into creators and experiences. And one of those companies that people told us would never be successful was Grin. They've had massive success. Grin.co. I don't know, Jackie, what?
Grin.co.
Yeah,
Oh,
what
which class?
accelerator class? I can't remember. You can look it up for us. But they've done phenomenal, and they've broken, 8 figures in revenue, yada, yada. So people are looking at this, what I think is kind of the 4th revolution in advertising. First, we had display ads, banners. Then we had search ads. And then we had social kind of related ads and video. I'm not sure if people consider those super different. And now there's this 4th one, which is influencers. Which you see, I kind of include podcast ad reads in. I include classic influencer stuff, and now these creators kind of working with brands. And so this is a real thing. People have budget for it, but more importantly, 5 years ago, we also have another one, Statosphere in the space, and Captivate. 5 years ago, people didn't think this would be a thing. And now we're seeing people at companies with influencer marketing, head of influencer marketing, at major companies. And now we're seeing the creation of divisions of influencer marketing divisions. And then we're seeing it become an actual line item in budget. So it's been like a 5 or 6 year journey, but it's happening. And when we saw this company, we're like, yep, this is definitely going to be a thing.
Cohort 9. They were in cohort 9.
Cohort 9. Wow. We now have, I think, maybe 7 companies that are over 100 million valuations in that first 100 companies. So, we only need to hit 1 in order to make the program worthwhile. And we've got many more than that. So it's been great. Okay, 3, 2, go.
Thank you, Jason, for the great introduction. Nice to meet you all. My name's Ryan, co-founder and CEO of Outfit. As Jason said, Outfit is a marketplace connecting brands with influential voices to amplify their marketing efforts. Meet Sarah. She's the marketing manager at Nike. Nike knows that authentic, targeted, and on-brand voices are vital for the success of their marketing efforts. Nike have been using our platform, Outfit, to book real-life event talent. Obviously, COVID hit. That kind of made us think differently about the business, and we opened our network up to micro influencers. So let me show you how Nike use us to amplify their marketing of the New York City Marathon. So they want to get maximum eyeballs on their sponsorship. They want 50 influencers in the fashion, wellness, and lifestyle sector. They get an instant quote, and our technology matches them with the right candidates. Because Nike are very data-driven, they need to see all of the key metrics from audience reach, demographic engagement, audience location. All of this is presented to them. Once they've made their selections, they can message through the platform with the talent. Once the campaign is live, they get real-time data showing the success. They rate, review, and pay all in one place. So a campaign that would take weeks to plan and weeks to close out can go end to end in a matter of days. What this means for Nike is they get 50 pieces of unique user-generated content, over 3 million eyeballs for a $15,000 spend. The power of Outfit gives local events global visibility in a few clicks. On the talent side, we are seeing a growing group of content creators, Gen Z, influencers across all channels. We are building a platform to support them to build their personal brand. We like to think of this as LinkedIn meets Instagram. We are an end-to-end solution, unlike many out there, where we just take a 30% clip of everything that goes through the platform. When we've seen other huge success stories, Perrier got over 2 million eyeballs for a 20K spend. HBO saw a 350% spike in viewership for a 27K spend. They actually did all of their Pride programming through us this month and got 22 million eyeballs. Rebecca Minkoff got a 300% spike in sales for a 35K investment. We are first to market, delivering not only in-person promoters, but digital promoters all in one place. When we look at the competitive landscape, gig platforms are very much focused on on-demand models, treating humans like functionaries that are cheap and fast. Nothing elevated about it. When we look at influencer platforms out there, they're very focused on macro influencers and are doing one of two things, either discovery or CRM management. We are the omni-channel solution that elevates and empowers talent in a seamless and scalable way. We did around 350K during beta in the IRL space. We launched Outfit Live last September, did 194K Q4, Q1 206, and 481 last quarter. 56 brands using us, over 5,000 talent, 15K average spend. To get to 100 million ARR, we're really going to focus on B2B sales here in the US. We'll then scale it up and integrate our SaaS model. We've almost hit our fundraising target of 1.5 with over 20 years experience in the entertainment and hospitality space. We're very excited to see your questions.
All right. Well done, Ryan. Okay. Lorenzo, you are actually up next. Question for Ryan.
Hey, Ryan. Yeah, my question is, can you speak just very briefly to the kind of tool that you provide to advertisers to actually track the return on their investment conversions across multi-channel?
All right. Terrific. Thank you. Robert.
Hey, when you're going up against the closest competition for your potential customers, what is that and why do you beat them?
Thank you, Robert. Scott.
Yeah, so what is the core source of value that the customers perceive, and is it the same across all 56 customers, or are there clusters there?
All right, great. And how about you, Sumit?
Yeah, so I'm curious on how you're getting the brand discovery and also working with future brands level. And where do you see the future of Outfit Live integrating with some of the offline channels? So I'm very curious to see what the future omni-channel solution on that level is too.
Thank you. And from our syndicate, Richard is asking, do you have any plans to expand to Twitch/YouTube influencers for brand placements? 2 minutes for that, Ryan. 3, 2, go.
Great. Thank you all for your questions. Very, very good. Yeah, so Lorenzo, what tools do we provide to track success? We're very, very data driven. So not only do we have kind of key determinants of entry on the influencer side, but every single engagement through our platform is tracked with success data. Brands know exactly what they're getting in terms of anticipated reach. And then at the back end, at the closeout of a campaign, they're getting a very, very robust report in terms of where the audience is, where the success was, and where the click-throughs were. This is really, really appealing to brands, especially as they're going micro and going hyper-local. So we're seeing brands bookings in secondary markets that were certainly not their primary targets, but they can drill down to housewives in Arkansas at the click of a button and get great, great results. Robert, what's the comp analysis? Well, going back to that previous point, it's really about hyper-local and hyper-targeted. Through our technology, we can drill down into the smallest of niches and deliver results for brands. Because we are a tech solution, we can do it at the click of a button and at scale. It would be almost impossible for a traditional influencer agency to appoint 300 micro influencers as HBO did this month for Pride. We did that at the click of a button and with trackable results. Scott, what is the core? What is the core value that we're seeing from our customer feedback? It's once again really about that amplification. When we look at the marketing life cycle, brands are engaging with us at the amplification phase. They've got all of their collateral, they've got their tentpole talking points, they come to Outfit to amplify, and that's where we excel. Samit, future of Outfit Live, very good question, and this is personally where I'm the most excited. We are really leaning into the omni-channel space of social commerce. All of our IRL talent are being converted into salespeople that brands can book either IRL or URL. So that social commerce live shopping capability is very, very at top of mind for us. And I think we had...
Okay. And that's it. Yeah, that's it, Ryan. Thanks so much. Okay, investor judges, I'm going to ask you for your top 3. We'll try to do this quickly because I know that we're running a bit over.
Yeah, that's my fault. We're running over my fault. So basically 3, okay. 2, 1, number 3, half point, number 2, 1 point, number 1, you get 2 full points. We add it all up. and then we awarded a winner. We track this throughout the year, and then it acts as a way to kind of do a little matchmaking. If you pick somebody as your number 1, 2, or 3, chances are you would take a follow-up meeting. And all I ask for a lot of my friends who are here and maybe some folks who are future friends, if you do like a company, we all know how founders spell love, just like kids, T-I-M-E. If you can give them 20 minutes of your time to do a quick Zoom call, maybe give them some great insights. And so many of us on the call here have a lot of battle scars. I liked Andrea's description there. Yeah, we've gotten our ass kicked, but once in a while we kick ass. That's what it's all about. It's not about all these losses racking up. It's just, you got to just hit one. So give them a little time, give them a little encouragement. Okay, Jackie, take it over.
Should we go around?
And by the way, you can do 4 honorable mentions, but you cannot do ties. But we need your 3, 2, and 1 as quick as possible. Go ahead, Jackie.
All right, no ties. So not say why for number 1. Do we keep it short?
Oh no, you could say why just ever so briefly for your number 1.
Okay, so 3, 2, just name of the company, and 1 quickly why. All right, so we'll start with you, Andrea. Your 3, 2, 1, and why, please.
Okay, start at 3 or start at 1?
Start at 3.
Okay, 3 is Paidback. 2 is Wearwell, and number 1 is Giggle, only because I was born and raised on search. It reminds me of my early days at Google, and the next generation virtual browser is very appealing to me.
All right, terrific. Thank you. Andrew.
3rd is Wearwell. 2nd is Giggle, and 1st is Paidback. Just changing the landscape of debt in a fun and interesting way.
All right, terrific. Thank you. Ben.
Okay, for 3rd is SupporTrends. 2nd is Paidback. 3rd is Giggle, because my puppy told me to vote that way. Giggle because,
So Giggle's 1 or Giggle's 3?
Giggle's 1, sorry.
Giggle's 1.
3, Paidback 2, Giggle 1, because I feel like we've forever changed the way we interact with people. We won't not see people in person, but we'll do a lot more of this stuff. And having a way to create collaboration and serendipity in a digital world that takes place on screen, I think is something that's been missing, and I'd like to see it created. So I'd like to see it succeed. I'd take a meeting with all 3.
All right. Thank you so much. And we're also going to launch a poll for our syndicate members just to vote for your top choice. And we'll keep that open. Lorenzo, I'm going to call on you next because you were going to go.
Yeah. The 3rd, Taskable. 2nd, Outfit, and Giggle 1st. And I'd like to make an honorable mention for Trybe, which is really close 4th.
All right. Thank you so much. Connor.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 3 SupporTrends, 2 Paidback, and 1 Giggle. And then, yeah, I think just exciting to see what's happening with multiplayer on the web. I think we're starting to see a lot more just innovations on browsers in general, and not much has changed with the underlying web engine themselves. So starting to get a lot more involved in that space. It's cool to see.
All right, terrific. And Kevin Zhang, I'll let you go because you already put your things in the chat. So go ahead and tell us what they were.
Sure. From bottom top, Trybe, SupporTrends, and number 1 is Giggle.
All right. Thank you so much, Kevin. Diane.
3 is Wearwell, 2 SupporTrend, and 1 is Giggle, and purely the innovation on engagement and how we interact.
Thank you so much. Elias?
Yep, 3 Taskable, 2 SupporTrends, and 1 Giggle as well. And for me, number of users already, an average session length, very exciting.
All right, very cool. Thank you. Kevin Lynch.
3 SupporTrends, 2 Trybe, 1 Giggle. I'd use Giggle personally, and reminds me a lot of what I used to do with friends with Stumble Upon back in the day when that was still alive.
All right, thank you very much. Robert?
3 Paidback, 2 Taskable, 1 Giggle. To echo what Connor said, I think there's a lot of interesting things happening with browsers right now, so it's exciting to see someone at the cutting edge of that.
All right, thank you very much. Scott?
Yeah, 3 is Paidback, 2 is Wearwell, and 1 is Giggle. My day job's as an academic. There's opportunities in that market too. I think this could be in almost any market.
All right. Thank you so much, Scott. Sumit.
Yeah, number 3 is Giggle. Number 2 is Wearwell, but a very close number 2 to number 1, which is Outfit. You see a lot of extremes where you see the online and the offline for the creator economy, especially for brands. And it's an area that we've been spending time and I spend a lot of time in. as well. So the tractionable level that you built to integrate both is exciting, and I love just the massive boost that you've done with revenues. Wearwell, again, honorable mention primarily because I've been also looking deeper into the transparency of sustainable clothing, and I do agree with you that there's a serious issue across with the fast fashion economy. If you truly nail your supply chain, you have an incredible road ahead of you. So I'm excited to talk with you more about it.
All right, terrific. Thank you. And Winnie.
3, Giggle, 2, Trybe, and for first I have Outfit. I'm just very excited about the next gen creator influencer economy tools. Really like the traction and your focus on micro influencers.
All right, great. And so Presh, or whoever's scoring, what is our final score?
All right. So in first place, we've got Giggle with 24 points. Second place, we've got Paidback with 5.5. And third place, we've got Outfit with 5.
All right, great. And for the syndicate, we have first place Giggle and second place SupporTrends. And very close for third place, but Outfit. And for Presh, what is our overall? This is the demo day. So what are our top 3 overall for the cohort?
Yeah, so top 3 overall is first place Giggle with 177.5 points. Second place SupporTrends with 96 points, and third place Outfit with 81.5 points.
All right.
All right. Great job, everybody. Founders. Normally this would be happening at my house with a barbecue and brisket and everything. And that's going to start up again in, I think probably July or something. And we'll see you all there. Can't wait to smoke some meats, fish, or vegetables for you, depending on what you do. Get your shots, everybody, and let's hang out soon. All right. Anything else?
Nope. Just thanks everyone for staying
thanks
longer.
To my friends
thanks for coming
today. Appreciate y'all. Can't wait to see you soon. Do let me know.
And congrats on all the great founders and companies.
What was that?
What was that, Dan?
Congratulations to all the great founders and companies and on these pitches. Fantastic.
Oh, thank you. It means a lot. Diane Eisner and I have been working in the internet industry since '94 when we met, when we were 22 and 23 years old, I'm guessing. And she was working, I think, at Site Specific with Scott Heiferman, who went on to do meetup.com, which sold to WeWork. And they were doing the first banner ads on the internet. I kid you not, the literal first. I mean, they might have done the Zima ad. I don't even know what the first ones were, but.
It was the Duracell battery.
Oh, yes. The Duracell.
Back of the page. Yeah.
Yeah, you would click on the page and it would flip around and show you that Yahoo was powered by Duracell. It was like the craziest, most innovative thing. It blew people's minds at the time. All right, everybody. There's a little web history for some of you Gen Zs. There was a time that a banner ad that was clickable was mind-blowing.
Then an animated GIF. Remember
and an animated GIF. Our friends at Razorfish did something called the blue dot, which was literally pushing a blue dot frame by frame to a web browser, and the web browser didn't have to refresh, and it would bounce a blue dot around, and people were like, look, you can actually animate something on a web browser. It was bonkers. And now here we are on a Zoom call with.
People were so frustrated by the super irritated animated banners. I was part of the group that actually created the standard for banners back then. That was
pre-IAB or IAB or DoubleClick?
We started shop.org and then we helped IAB create banner standards.
Yep.
And, all kinds of stuff. By the way, you saw it, for those of you who care about web geek history, Timothy Berners-Lee just sold off his original source code for www for $5.3 million as an NFT. He finally got paid. Man's done more for this planet than.
Thank the Lord. Thanks for these crypto billionaire whack jobs.
Like, there's a lot
they're
of
sitting there on like billions in crypto, and they're like, what insane thing can I do with this digital alchemy money? Let's give people 60 million. Let's give Tim Berners-Lee 5 million. It's great.
You know, if you sort of I won't badmouth people, but if you look at sort of the man that created the web that has probably had more impact on our lives than anybody's come across, versus maybe the people that profited the most from his creation, he's never made a penny till today. So
somebody give that guy, Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg should buy those freaking NFTs. If Zuck shoots the lock off his wallet,
it was undisclosed who did it. So somebody owns Berners-Lee's original code. We just don't know.
Love it.
Could have been
Piece of
you.
history. No, definitely not me. Although Robinhood went out, so Robinhood's S1. So yeah, we're getting there. I got to buy the Knicks. Okay, don't ask me to donate any money. All this money's going to the Knicks.
Jason,
buy the Knicks and win a championship. That's it.
Jason,
Stay focused.
Jason,
yes, sir.
When you work towards your investor group to buy the Knicks, I highly, and I kindly request to be part of that investor group because I've been a long time fan since '92. Still have my Stark jersey over in the corner. So
love it.
That is, we got to talk about that, Jason.
No, it literally, when I wrote the book, we were at 800 members to the syndicate. We now have 8,000. We did 12 syndicate deals in June. And my long-term play here, and people think I'm joking, is to get the syndicate to, let's say, 50,000 members eventually, which is completely doable. We're kind of on track to do that if we had 500 a month. But then if they change the investing laws and they blow out this 250 limit, there could be a scenario where there's 1,000 people who want to put $1 million in each, and that would be a pretty good down payment. Or there might be, 100 of them who want to put 10 million each. And that's what happened with the Warriors out here is they passed the hat around to buy the Warriors. And that's how Chamath and, I think Jim Getz from Sequoia and then, just everybody, all the venture community, and also Chad Hurley owns a piece. So everybody owns like 2%. I think it's completely possible. Okay, we'll see everybody next time on Jason's Delusional Fantasy and the Launch Incubator.
Thanks,
I miss
everybody.
all y'all. Be cool.
Thanks so much for staying later. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming. Congratulations to the founders.